Can we see the cat? I have to go and get him. Say hello, Ted. Oh, what's the matter? Bit fat, eh? Hmm? Bit fat. Alright. You'll say bye now? See ya. Yeah. That's why I hate picking him up. Everyone loves the cat except me. Hang on, turn this down. Oh. Can't see where I'm looking. Hang on, let me get set up here so I can see. He's always happy when he gets picked up. Except it's dinner time now, so he'll be pestering me for something to eat soon. So how's everyone dealing with isolation, or are you isolated at the moment, or are you still just living life normally? What's going on? So Marnie and I basically decided we would do bare minimal stuff, stick around the house basically, only going out shopping, like food shopping that is. Even that we sort of minimise as much as possible. Yeah, not being able to go fishing is tough, but you got to think of long term, I guess, that you don't want to make someone else sick just because you want to go fishing. You know, it's a short term thing, hopefully, and everything will be back to normal in maybe months. I guess could be weeks, not sure, but according to ScoMo, we've started to level out a little bit, which is better than increasing. So social distancing stuff seems to be playing a bit of a part. Where's your little dam? Used to have a little dam on a property that we lived in. All I had in was redfin. But I was looking at KVD. I watched his YouTube live, and then before that he was talking about going live. He's in isolation and he's fishing in his pond in the backyard, which is basically a lake, catching smallies, so not quite the same as what we're all dealing with. So anyway, I bought a few props into the office today. Larry's rod. I can't believe this rod. I couldn't talk more highly of this thing. And admittedly it's a jerk baiting rod and I was frogging with it, so not the best idea, but judging by the way it exploded into 3 pieces, a mate of mine said I must have stood on it, which is highly likely considering the day we were having, well, the 2 days we were having before that. So not sure if you'll be able to see it on there. I'll take it off, but on the face of the reel, that line, that like orange mark is where the braid was cutting through the reel before I really worked out what's happening. The drag sounded horrible and I couldn't work out what's going on, but the braid was slicing into the face of my reel, getting jammed up. It's lucky I sort of noticed it before the line broke. I would have definitely be heartbroken there. So, before I forget, most of you should have already seen it, but this big basket of goodies is all up for grabs. So all this stuff, lures, trebles, stickers, bait ball spinner, live trout, some crankbaits, some bass jig heads, some ice jigs, Molluck's lover, more ice jigs, trebles, hats. That's a carpet decal, so that goes on carpet of any boat. You would have seen them in my past boats. So basically, essentially what I'm trying to do is get my subscribers up over 5k. So it's been going up pretty consistently the last few weeks, but if any of you know me very well, I'm very impatient, so I like to try and move things as quick as I can, and I want to push it above 5k. So to get that stuff, all you basically need to do is you need to be a subscriber, which most of you guys probably already are, but then I'm asking you to help, not really promote, but like just share the channel, show other people the channel. You can either share it through sharing the channel itself, or share a video that's helped you or you think might help someone else, or a video that's funny, like when Dickhead breaks his fishing rod or falls out of a boat, any of those sorts of things. They're my most two popular videos of late, falling out of a boat and breaking a fishing rod. So but that's basically it. And then write in the comments in that community section, I did the post of the giveaway, write there what you've done, or just write there that you've done something, and when I get over 5k, then I'll give away the prize. And I'll probably do the same thing for 6, 7 and 8. Then we get to 10, might try and push for something bigger. Might try and get a sounder or something like that for the 10k, so we'll see how we go. What town? I live in Upper Coomera, which is on the Gold Coast at the moment. The tinny. Well, the tinny's going pretty good, but I'm about 3 videos ahead, but I can't put them up yet because I haven't done the second part of the video, which explains how I did the template and everything for the flooring. So that video needs to really be edited before I can get the next lot of videos up, and I've been procrastinating that one a little bit. I don't really know why. I've got the it's all filmed. It's just the files are everywhere, and I haven't bothered. I actually sat down to do it this morning, and then didn't do it. Had a heap of other stuff to do. So the shed got attacked today. Cleaned it all out. Put this prize pack together. Didn't really clean all the shed out. I cleaned a lot of it up. So maybe tomorrow I'll edit that up and get it to you this week. Yeah, I don't mind fishing the Richmond and Wilson rivers. It's not too bad. I've been down there twice, I think, maybe 3 times. I like river fishing, just a bit different, different style to impoundment bass. Impoundment bass are good, but they get boring at times unless they're huge, or jerkbaits, top water, stuff like that. Whereas rivers are a little bit trickier. You either got tides or you've got current. Different stuff to deal with. Normally got dirtier water, especially in those two. Haven't done much football jig fishing in Oz really either, to be honest. Fishing trip with me would be the prize. Well, we can't really go fishing for a while, so I don't know about promising that to anyone until we can go fishing. So I have thought about doing some stuff with people, but it's a little bit complicated fishing with people, because if you promote the fact that you're going to do it and then something happens to the person, then you're liable. Or if you come in my boat and you hurt yourself, or I accidentally hook you or something, then I'm liable. So I think the only real way around it is to go fishing with you guys, either in your boat or off the shore, and probably like meet you somewhere. But that's not out of the options. I was thinking about doing a thing where some of you guys sort of challenge me to something, like say you have flathead that's really good fishing in your area or whatever, and you want to learn a little bit more, and I can come down and film a video about it and challenge you at your own thing, and see if I can teach you something, or you guys can teach me something. Wilderness Classic, don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing this year, to be honest. Now that all this has happened, I was going to go to New Zealand later in March, then end of April I was supposed to be going to Oman with Brooksy, and then May I was going to Vanuatu, celebrate my birthday, which that's not happening now either. Um, yeah, and then September is Bassmaster Lake Hartwell, if that's still on. So yeah, it's a little bit up in the air at the moment. A bit like getting a haircut. I don't know. That's my biggest concern right now. I normally get a haircut every 2.5 weeks. So I think I'm going to shave my head and grow the beard. Not sure yet. Big decisions. So a couple of other props I brought in. I didn't really bring them in. They're on the bench back there. So chatterbaits. This is called the Evergreen Jackhammer. And not sure if you'll be able to see. But I used this in New York last year, Lake Oneida. And this was probably maybe the 5th or 6th one that I went through, probably even more actually, but it lasted me the final day, and you can see it's basically not really destroyed, but pretty hammered. Hook point's not the best, but yeah, that's the lure that basically got me into second place. And as you know from fishing tournaments in Oz, I really like fishing chatterbaits, and when I got to America, I wouldn't say it's really my style of thing, but it's just something that I found I got really comfortable with and understood how to fish it. And even though it's a completely different style of fishing to Oz, you're fishing straight through fluoro, you're representing a bait fish, not a crayfish. But this is such a fun lure to fish. Like you fish 15-pound line on I think mine's a 711, so nearly an 8-foot powerful cranking rod with a 7.3 to 1 bait caster reel, and you burn it basically as fast as you can. So this lure tracks pretty straight, but once you increase the speed, it jumps from side to side, and it's that moment when it blows out and it jumps to one side and then starts vibrating again. That's when you get hit. That's why this lure is so good, so productive at catching fish, just because of its action. So you get some perfect. This is a Japanese made one, it's Evergreen, but you get some other chatterbaits that do not blow out at all, and you won't get as many hookups unless you impart the action by pulsing the rod or stopping and starting the reel. Best conditions. Well, best conditions basically is any stable conditions for barramundi fishing. Like it doesn't have to be. I mean, obviously the warmer it is, the better. Apart from being super hot, but just stable. So even in winter, if you have a week and a half of consistent wind / temperature, they will bite. Like it's just changes that sort of ruin barramundi. It's similar to impoundment bass, big bass anyway. Any change ruins the fishing. Like they'll move away from whatever they were doing. The bait can move if the wind's changing a lot. Just the water temperatures will move them. Barometer and stuff like that changes affect what they want to eat, if they want to eat. So basically, yeah, the best thing for barramundi fishing is the same as bass fishing, is consistent weather, which is probably the same as most fishing. Like even found in America, you know, it's tournament fishing. The weather is stable until the day before tournaments, and then the weather turns to shit, so everything changes. So yeah, basically any fishing is all the same in that regard. That stable, consistent weather for a week or plus is the best weather for any type of fish. One lure to choose for Australian bass, it'd have to be the Jackal Charrablade. It's I've caught fish just because it's so much fun as well. It's a chatterbait. I've caught fish on it everywhere from Boondooma all the way down to Blue Rock. So you would have seen that I won Blue Rock using that chatterbait. I won Glenbourne using that chatterbait. I think I had another second or another win using that chatterbait. It's just so much fun. The bites on that thing is so much fun. I contemplated going down to Glenbourne last November just to fish that bite. It's so much fun. Cod fishing down New South Wales. I have been cod fishing New South Wales a couple of times. I've done some cod fishing in some of the rivers down there. I've dabbled in Copeton, went there twice maybe. Both times it was terrible. Hardly anyone caught any fish, and I basically had no idea what I was doing. the creek fishing and river fishing and stuff like that in New South Wales has been ridiculous. Sight casting with those live target surface mice just getting destroyed. Not big fish, probably I think an 80 something was one of the biggest ones, and then I've had another session on a different creek using ganterelles and stuff as well as top water in the night, and I caught maybe it was a 90 something, 20 plus pound fish, maybe 30 pounds. That was pretty cool, but the swim bait thing, that trip was ridiculous. I caught 8 or 9 caught off the exact same cast on a ganterelle, nearly in the exact same position. Just the hit on the big swim bait is crazy. So for those of you that are stuck at home or are hanging out at home, what sort of things are you doing fishing wise? Are you preparing stuff? Like I'm playing around my tinny, I'm playing my tackle, sorting out some reels. I've got these little like line keepers that I'm going to put on some of my rods that don't come with it. Got videos to edit and fix my landing net. So much stuff. The list is ridiculous. And if I had to choose one person, dead or alive, to fish with anywhere in the world, who would it be and why? Ooh, that's tough. Should say Marnie, but can't say Marnie because she'll just get angry at me. Probably have to go with like Gerald Swindler, I'd say, just because when you spend time with him, he's not. Yes, he's hilariously funny, and a lot of the video that I've done with him before will never see the light of day because it's too, just can't go on YouTube. But yeah, he is very down to earth and very, very sensible and smart man. And I think he's also very, very knowledgeable. A lot of times I fish with him and he messes around. He's there to try and beat you too, and he'll do something. You got to pay attention to what he's doing because he won't. He's trying to beat you. He's not trying to help you, especially me anyway. Yeah, I just went to a tub of my soft plastics actually, and I put the lid back on it because it was a mess. It needs to be sorted out. I need to put them in species probably, and or sell them. PB bass, I think 53.5 centimeters, but it was 3.55 kilos, something like that. PB yellow belly, didn't weigh it, but it was 63 centimeters. Caught on 4-pound line on a gulp, straight out the middle of a tree, and it basically did nothing. But it was the biggest thing I've ever seen. It was like, yeah, if it was 60 something, it was 63 long, but I reckon it had to be 40 something plus high. It was ridiculous. So what do you think about being in the office? Better in the office or better in the shed? Yeah, I always run, well, I don't always run TN60s with that single, but it's definitely a good idea, especially fishing in grass. And it's crazy how you run a single lure hook facing the wrong direction. You can't hang up on grass, you can't hang up on sticks, but you will not miss a bass. They will get hooked straight through here, all the way through the bottom jaw every time. Go-to impoundment. Can't even read. Go-to impoundment barrel lure. Oh, probably has to be the Mollick's Shad, the 140. I've caught so many monster fish on that this year, and yeah, since the Barrow Wonga started eating it, it's crazy. We had one session off a point where we saw one fish hooked near us, and we landed 13 out about 8 boats, and no one else hooked a fish. So I can't say enough about that lure. And rig properly, taking off that top hook, all that sort of stuff. I rarely lose a fish. First fish caught on a lure, I'm not sure whether it was a redfin or a trout. No, actually it was a trout. Yeah, it was a trout. Lake Yukonbean, trolling with my parents. Used to troll Tassie Devils and flats fish, and can't remember what the other things were called. These little metal things. And yeah, first fish would have been a trout. Well, go-to spin reel combo depends what species we're talking about. But all my spinning reels are Smoke S3s now. Great reel, can't fold them. Probably definitely, well, they're not as smooth as your Stellas and obviously those sorts of things, but for the price range, they will last longer than any other reel at that price range. Spin coming for bass, well, that's a difficult one too, because it depends on the lake. So fishing Somerset, for example, I'll be using a Dobbin 743, which is a 7'4" rod, and it's like a 21-pound rod with a 4,000 size reel. And if I go down into New South Wales, for example, I'll use a 2500 size reel on probably an NS Black Hole 701, just because I like that tip for catching bass down that way. But saying that too, I'll use that 743 for my chatterbait bite down there, because you got to get that hook home before they spit it out. But I really wish that Explorer range that I started using lately went lighter. It's only sort of in the Barra series at the moment. I really wish I could use it in the bass models. Yeah, Wildman would be the 743, chasing those schooling fish. Unless I'm jerkbaiting, then I use probably the 702 baitcaster with a Squirrel 79. That's, yeah, winter, which will probably be maybe the next time we can go fishing. Many of you guys fish Waruma. I've been meaning to go to Waruma and have a try. I've heard it's pretty good, pretty fun. The delay on this thing is crazy. Ray Holmes. Hey mate. Yeah, I need to go. Is winter better? Jerkbait bite? That's what I really want to do. Go there and do some jerkbaiting. You catch them on top water in Marima as well or not? Because that'd be good. That's where I'm planning on playing around with the new boat when I get it sorted out. So this week I'll probably try and I'll edit that video about how you make up the template and stuff for the flooring, because that's actually pretty interesting and useful if you want to put that EVA flooring in your own boat. And then I have to do some filming for the ghost stuff, so I'm going to open that thing up and see what's all involved with that, get it installed, and then fit out all my Railblazer stuff. So I have GoPros mounted everywhere, sounder mounts everywhere, and then I will be scratching to get out on the water. Yeah, I'm keen. What do you want? Haven't you got your dinner yet? You want to go back on YouTube? Come here. Ooh, fat boy. There you go. Don't touch my lures. Don't touch anything, actually. That's not what you wanted, was it? Don't stand on the keyboard. You want to get back down? Come on. Down you get. Oh, go fat. Okay, make yourself useful somewhere else. So much hair, Ted. That's about it, really, guys. Oh yeah, it's a fat cat. It's on a diet. Aren't you, Ted? You're just lazy. Your input versus your output is not quite right. He sleeps nearly all day. Comes in here and annoys me in the office. Yeah, I don't mind no showers or electricity. So you can camp there. That's pretty good. You wouldn't mind going camping there? Nah. Haven't fished hens. It's so close, like 20 minutes away. It's just one of those lakes I've never. Well, since I've been close enough to fish it, I haven't been interested in targeting Aussie bass because I've been trying to do everything else. And then when I sorted out this boat, which basically I've got to take the back motor off if I want with the ghost motor on it, and with a 32 volt lithium, it's got 130 pounds or something thrust, so it's going to fly. So yeah, as soon as we're out of isolation or whatever it is that we're in and this boat is running, Hins and Marooma are going to be the two places that I go and have a play at, and probably back at Maroon because Maroon's a lot of fun, jerk baiting. Yeah, we're camping at Marooma, that sounds good. It's not that far away really for me, but I'll still probably camp there, especially if the weather's cooler by the time I go up there. Biggest fish in freshwater, well, longest is a $1.28 barra out of, caught one in Faust and one in Awonga. But the biggest freshwater fish was that barra that I caught a month ago. It was only $1.13, but man, it was the heaviest fish I've ever caught. It was so fat, ridiculous. And saltwater biggest fish, well, that's a bit hard. Biggest fish that I would like to say is my biggest fish is probably 45 kilo GT, just because it's the best fight and everything. But I've caught marlin now, so technically they're bigger, but I'd say a GT's got more going for it than a marlin. So yeah, 45 kilo GT off 1770, beat of all places. Went all the way to Christmas Island trying to catch GTs, and we never saw anything sort of over 25. And then I go to come back, do a random Spanish mackerel trip off 1770 and caught 5 GTs over 40 kegs. Crazy. Nah, haven't been to PNG yet for black bass. That was another thing to do, maybe not this year, but next year. A friend of mine went last year, and I want to go back there with him because he sort of got a bit of an idea about what to do now, where to stay, who to go with. So I think next year I'll go to black bass fishing. Gonna have to do a lot of playing catch up next year, I think, with all the plans I had to do this year. So the last prop I brought in, I think that's the last one, is this swim bait. So I used this in Champlain on the final day. I'm not sure if you can tell on the video. It is wrecked. And I had a plan. I'd never ever thrown a swim bait like this in the US before. And I had a plan day 1, day 2. I could catch more fish on drop shot than most people in these areas. And if it wasn't drop shot, it was a Carolina rig. And I had a co-angler on the first day, and he didn't understand how to fish the swim bait. Not that I knew how to then, but I overheard a conversation. He didn't know how to fish this swim bait, and he was getting more bites than me, but not hooking up. And straight after weighing that afternoon, I went into the tackle store. I bought some of these swim baits, bought some of these heads, found a rod that I thought was suitable, and I just listened to a guy the day before telling someone else how to fish it, and I went out the next morning to the last morning that I fished with the intention of just trying to use this swim bait to see if it would catch the fish that I thought it would in the shad spawn first up in the morning, and I ended up catching my entire limit plus some on this lure that next morning, and I'd never ever thrown it before ever. So guys talk about fishing tournaments and what it takes or whatever to understand things. It's you have to learn to adapt and have to not be scared to try something different if you think it's going to work. So the main differences between me and my co-angler the day before was, I think, A, colour, and B, technique. I basically learnt off what someone told me the day before how to fish it, and then obviously as you catch some fish you understand more about how to fish it, and it's an interesting technique which I haven't really tried over here yet to see, but I reckon it would probably work in Oz the same way. But I was pretty proud of myself. I did catch a not too bad a bag, but I wasn't going to go anywhere. I cashed a check, but I was just happy that I went from learning, never fishing a big swim bait before in the US, to being able to catch my full bag and upgrade several times on this thing while guys around me weren't catching anything. So that's pretty cool, that lure. So I get back to questions now. Yeppoon, Rocky, no, I plan on going up there. I've only done offshore off 1770 at the moment. I have been planning to go to Yeppoon and Rocky for a long time, but just haven't had the boat to do it, to be honest. I've been trying to organise that this year and had all bar sorted out the boat before all the COVID-19 stuff, so not sure what's happening with the boat now. So I think that's all sort of probably on hold till later on in the year, and yeah, if I get one, that's exactly where I'm going. I'm going to fish my way up, probably maybe to Mackay, maybe further, might go all the way to Airlie and GT pop, barrowfish, do those sorts of things, probably spend a month working between fresh and salt all the way up. Heading to the States, not sure. I do plan on doing at least one tournament a year every year, but last year, even though I made I think 20-something thousand in prize money, it still cost me 43,000 to go over there, and nearly absorbed my entire savings to fish it. So the plan was this year, before all this sort of stuff happened, to build on my social media and stuff up, enter that one tournament at the end of this year to prove that I can still do it, and then the start of 2021 or the end of 2020, try and get financial support from different companies in the US for another full season in 2021. No, all the tackle that I use in America is all from America. I don't have there's hardly any correlation with the tackle from there to here, except for some of the reels. So some of my reels came home, but nearly all my lures, rods, the majority of my reels, trays and trays of lures and everything is all just over there because it's basically useless over here. I only brought these sorts of ones home just so that I had them as novelty purposes, just a reminder. They sit on the bench behind me with my little popper up there. Yeah, I went to Monday the first time for, not sure, I think 10 years the other week. And there's a video coming in that soon too. That was an interesting place. I used to like Mondrian, but it sort of looks the same. I found the bay that I won the ABT on, and it's way up the back. And it's basically unfishable now though, because it's only I think it was about 5 foot deep there when we were there that last trip. But yeah, Awonga, I think Awonga's still been pretty tough, but mate, when you get back there in September, it's going to be fun. They're already massive. 90-something centimetre fish and they're fat as. So yeah, I'm putting money on that I can catch a metery in there this year, by the end of the year. I reckon I'll catch a metery in Awonga, and I'm going to go and spend some more time back at Mondrian. I thought about getting a houseboat. If any of you guys stayed on the houseboat on Mondrian, wouldn't mind finding out whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. This big swim bait is a Zoom. I think it's got a Zoom swimmer. Not sure. Basically like the old school Berkeley Hollowbellies, but just so much softer. But the key with this lure is the jig head and the angle of the jig head, like the way the toe point sits and the shape of it all, just gets the thump and everything from this thing is amazing. And you just got to wind it so slow, and it just ticks along, and they choke that thing. Ooh, first stem to hit. First one to hit will be the closest one. I'd say probably Waruma. Depends when it is. If it's still warm, I'm going north. I'm going to catch some barramundi. I just can't seem to get. They're painful fish, barramundi. You think you have a handle on them and understand how to catch them, and then you go to the next session and you can't catch them. So then every time I leave barramundi fishing, I feel like, yes, I've had a good time, but I need to go back to catch more. So yeah, if it's still warm, I'm going straight to Awonga, or maybe even further north. And if it's cooled down, probably Waruma or Hins. Get some jerkbait and timber action. See if I can't lose some lures. Yeah, I'm not sure. It does look like the Z-Man swimmers, but I don't think the Z-Man swimmer has the action that this has, because the Americans are like, they get fixated on a certain thing, and this definitely has a very unique, strong action at the speed. Like, you were just about winding it, basically almost touching the bottom the whole way back. And what you can tell by the marks on the lure. So what they do is they come and suck it up, and then they sort of pull it for a second, and they suck it up, and they get the whole thing. And that's sort of the trick, was to not set the hook in between that first grab and when they actually have it. Well, I might wrap this up, guys. Make sure you all go into the community section. Ooh, broke my favourite rod again. Go into that community section, and let's get it above 5k so I can give this away. I've already half started making another basket for the 6k giveaway. But yeah, go into that community section, tell me what you've done, or just tell me that you've done it. And yeah, I might see you all maybe mid next week, do another one. So there we go. See if I've got anything interesting to talk about. So if you get bored, write some topics in that community section too. Let me know what you want to hear. I might even put a post in there and say, what do you want to hear? And we'll chat about that, and I can bring some different props other than a broken rod and a couple of lures from the US. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you all for watching my videos. Much appreciated. I am trying to get out more videos and better quality videos this year. That's been my goal for 2020, was to improve the quality of my videos. I looked back at some of my stuff from 2 years ago, and it makes me cringe. But all good. Thank you everyone. Enjoy your night, and stay safe.